let's do the Fantastic Four, and I'll give you guys my review for the Fantastic Four First Steps. So, the Fantastic Four First Steps is Marvel Studios' first crack at trying to do the Fantastic Four. We already know that we've seen this movie happen a couple of times. Some of it, some of us we never wanted to see, like that early '90s one that thankfully didn't really make the light of day like that. But we do have the this new one here to deal with. So let's kind of go through. I'll give you a quick intro about it. It says here, forced to balance their roles as heroes with the strength of their family bond, the Fantastic Four must defend Earth from a ravenous space god called Galactus and his herald, the Silver Surfer. All right, so let me start off with what I thought was good in the story. And I think the first thing that really caught my attention was the very beginning of all of this. And what I loved was just how much they transported us into a whole completely, like a completely different world. And I think that that's what really helped me get into this film, like just with no effort. Like it's a different world. They kick it off by telling you, "Hey, this is Earth 828. It's a completely different, universe, different history." And to me, it made me feel like this was a very unique, separate place in the MCU that I've never seen before. And I think this is one of the reasons why Matt Shakman was hired to do this, because he did a great job with WandaVision and giving us something similar where you're having like these retro but yet futuristic type of situations. I like that. It kind of reminded me of like Star Wars, how they have dated old technology, but at the same time, it's very futuristic, almost like the Jetsons in a sense. So I love the setting and the world building that they brought about here. And then I would say the next thing we got to talk about is definitely the performances. I really thought that the cast overall did a good job. I enjoyed the performances from a number of them. I mean, Sue Storm, played by Vanessa Kirby, I think she was excellent. She was clearly the MVP. They put a lot of respect on her name. And by the way, just so no one says that, this is accurate to the comics as well. Sue Storm is that gal in the comics, so don't get it twisted. But I loved how they were able to show different sides of her character. I liked how she was able to just portray different sides of her character. Like, she's not just one thing. She could be motherly, she could be vulnerable, she can be stern, she could be courageous, she could be a capable leader, and listen, she will call you out if she needs to, so I really, really liked her. I thought they did a really good job with her. um I think that who else was it? I liked Joseph Quinn. Joseph Quinn, who plays Johnny Storm. I thought he was a real standout. I liked his comedic delivery. I thought he did a good job with his timing. He had really good ability to like just demonstrate that his character was not just one dimensional. I like the fact that they kind of made him no longer the straight up womanizer, that he used to be. Like, he was just, oh, Johnny's a playboy, like they kind of got away from that. And I like that. They show that, he could be smart too. They show that, there's more to him than just being the hotshot guy, so I really did appreciate them doing that. And then, of course, we got Pedro Pascal. I thought he did a good job as Reed Richards. I will admit I was a little nervous, not because I don't think Pedro doesn't have skills. He does. But I was like, he wasn't my first pick. But you know what? I think he did a good job. He convinced me that his character is, obviously incredibly smart, but at the same time, he looked like and portrayed a person that was always stuck in their head. Like, it was always like, man, I got to figure out this problem. I got to do this. Oh, yeah, by the way, I need to be a good husband. Oh, yeah, by the way, I need to be a good brother-in-law. Whatever. Like, it's like his head is always in thinking about stuff, but at the same time, oh yeah, I got to remember to be like a human being, So I really enjoyed him, and I thought he had really good chemistry with Vanessa Kirby as well, who played Sue. And also, I like Ben and Johnny. Um, I like their connection together. I thought that they were fun together when they interacted, their little jokes and stuff. That was cool. And they made really good uncles as well. So I thought they did a good job with that. Now, there was one big concern, big concern that I had going into this movie, and it was with Galactus. And just to kind of give a little background, in the comics, the issue I've always had with Galactus is it was the scaling, right? Because sometimes you would see Galactus as like his face is like right here and Earth was like right here. Like it was always like, how you gonna fight that? How you gonna fight somebody that big, right? Or he would be some other type of form where, like, you've seen it in the movies where he was like a cloud. How you fighting a cloud? What are you talking about? So it was always the depiction of Galactus and how in the comics or in the animation, how do you fight something like that? That was my concern. But you know what? They did it here. They did a good job, I think. They used practical costuming on him. I thought the special effects on him were done very well. And they basically made him the size of a kaiju, right? He's Godzilla size. He's King Kong size. I like that because that still made him larger than life, but at the same time, he was approachable, right? Like he wasn't just somebody that you couldn't do anything to. You could still have a fight with him. And I thought that was key, and they nailed that. So I'm glad they did that. And Ralph Ineson, I think he captured the whole devouring, world conquering type of villain character. I think he did a good job with it too. Anywho, besides all that, I thought that the plot was done pretty well. I liked what they did with it. I like the action. I like how they just jump right into the introduction. It was just like, hey man, here go the Fantastic Four, and this is what they do, right? I thought they did a great job with that, just to kind of really throw you into it. I like the space chases. That space chase, that was serious. I thought they did a fantastic job with that. I was on the edge of my seat with that whole scene. And then of course the big battle at the end, I thought they nailed that as well. So those moments I thought were really, really done well. And I think I also really liked the themes that they used in this film, especially obviously the theme of family is important here. But I think what resonated the most was like how you put the characters in the most difficult position to make I would say an impossible decision, right? I mean, you probably saw it if you saw the trailers because the trailers spoil everything anyway. But I like that because I think the stakes were raised in the film and it helped maintain a sense of urgency and it kept the movie interesting for the most part. It was kind of like, okay, like you got your decision. What you gonna do now? So I like how they handled that. But going back to the themes, I thought the themes were handled really well. The whole family theme is obviously central to this because they literally are a family. I liked what they did, especially from the perspective of being a parent, right? I love the concept of seeing characters faced with like that crazy impossible decision. And I think that they really help to make this movie feel more personal in a sense. It wasn't more like yes, you have the whole element of we have to save the world, but at the same time it was like my family, you know? And that's something that I think usually escapes a lot of movies where if you don't have that personal element there, it's hard to relate with the characters. And this one I know I related to. So I like that theme as well with the whole family stuff. Anyway, for the bad of this film, whew, I think that one thing that stood out almost immediately for me was some of the CGI, some of the VFX. And it was early in the movie. Ben Grimm looked terrible. They made Ben Grimm look very bad. Now, he looks fine later, but in the first, I don't know, 30, 40 minutes of the movie, I was like, this dude looks like a cartoon. Now I know he's obviously, all motion capture and stuff like that, but they clearly did not take their time early in the movie to finish the effects, and it was a little disturbing. And arguably, I'd say also in other parts of the movie as well. I mean, there were times where it was kind of like, what are you even holding? Look at Reed's hand right there. What are you touching? You're not even touching because it's not real. It's not real. Like, what are you doing? So, man, them VFX was bad. Some of those VFX looked unfinished. Some of them looked bad. I mean, I would say like the Silver Surfer, that one looked fine. That was good. But nah, the rest of that, it was shoddy. They should have delayed it and finished that production. Last but not least, I would just say that the second act of the movie, the pacing kind of dragged a little bit. First act, great. You got the action, it's popping, it's crazy, it's good. Second act, it's a whole lot of talking. There's a whole lot of exposition and all that stuff. And then the third act picks everything all the way up. So I would just say that the second act just kind of slowed a little bit. I think it kind of disrupted the flow and tempo, not to the point that it's a deal breaker, but I did kind of notice. I was like, man, what are we doing? But anyway, let me go on now to my reason overall with this film. Listen, I would say that the Fantastic Four First Steps, it's a fun comic ride that's got a little bit of everything for everyone. The movie takes the concept of family and it runs wild with it. And I think it does cross the finish line, right? I think there was no need for it to be an origin story, and it successfully accomplished its goal of not needing any type of homework, like at all. You could literally just walk in, not watching any Marvel movies or TV shows, and be just fine. And I would argue that Fantastic Four, the First Steps, this was a good start for the beginning of Phase 6 to really just kind of also set up Avengers Doomsday. So I thought that they did a good job with this overall. When it comes to the rating, I had it at first at a 7.5, but I think I'm going to bump it up to an 8 out of 10. I had a good time with it. I enjoyed it. I am very okay rewatching it. That's also kind of important. And by the way, be sure to stay for the post-credit scenes. Hopefully nobody spoiled it for you online yet. First post-credit scene is probably the most important one. Second one, don't feel like you got to stay. It's just one of those little throwaways or whatever. But I would say that, yeah, Fantastic Four First Steps, good start to Phase 6, good movie, worth watching in theaters. Go check it out. So you guys let me know, have you seen Fantastic Four The First Steps? Do you plan on watching it? If and when you do, come on back to this video. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments down below.
Thank you so much for watching. This was just a segment of one of my live chats, and if you're interested in joining in on the next one, be sure to subscribe and turn on your notifications for more. I've got more videos and reviews to do for you all, and until next time, I'll see you all later.